Court will come to order. It is Monday, August the 30th, 2021, 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is in session in a workshop. And this is a workshop to participate in a workshop to discuss upgrading the current Kerr County website. And I know we've got at least three presenters here. Mr. Hurley's on the line for the Texas Association of Counties, and then we have a representative of Granicus that is here, and then we have our own.
Hi, Judge.
Clint Moore. Yes, sir. Mr. Hurley, how are you doing?
Yes. Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Are you ready?
Yes, absolutely. I have my partner on the line from EasyTaz, George Hardy.
George Hardy, is that his name?
George, are you there?
Doherty, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty,
okay.
sorry.
So I have Kevin
Sorry, I
Hurley.
apologize.
I have Kevin Hurley and George Doherty on the line. You may proceed.
I'm sorry, come again?
You may proceed.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, I guess I spoke to Bruce last week. I just want to make sure. So we're going first. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, great. So I guess guys, I'll just sort of take it back a bit and just give you sort of context of where we're at and how we came about here. I believe that Mr. Harris had sort of reached out to me and EasyPass actually, and from my understanding, you guys are interested in pursuing a partnership with either Tax Zero for a website. So what I had proposed to Bruce is I'm not sure if you guys have the different websites that I had sent him recently. But it's a combination of the different platforms that we offer our members.
I've got three printed out pages here, pages 21, 22, and 23, which I believe comes off your website.
Okay, perfect.
website
So
services.
I'm going to just make sure it's the right.
You can show it.
So I'm not sure which counties you guys are looking at, but if you're looking at Burlington, Jim Wells, or Victoria, those counties are our custom websites.
Your website.
One second. Technical difficulty.
We're having trouble hearing you.
No worries. Let me know when you'd like me to repeat.
Okay, we're on Burleson County.
Burleson County?
Yeah.
Yes, Burleson County, Jim Wells, and I believe the last one that's custom is Victoria. Yeah, Victoria County. And then the other counties that are just our standard platform would be Anderson and Carson.
We have all of those available.
Where is Carson? What's the county seat of Carson?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was printed, but Carson and Anderson should be the same in terms of platforms. It's the same type of platform you should see.
This is Commissioner Les, can we go start like at Burleson and just let us go through one at a time? It's going to be easier for us because we're looking at, they're on a screen and jumping back and forth is difficult.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, which one do you want to take a look at first? Maybe we can take a look at
Burleson.
Burleson.
This is Commissioner Harris. Kevin, and what level is Burleson again, as far as your package?
So Burleson is actually it's our custom platform,
Custom.
and
Okay.
Burleson is actually so we have two packages on the custom website play side. We have the premium and the ultimate. Okay, Burleson would be the ultimate package, and George, just for reference purposes, we call the ultimate here at Tax Zero the premium plus, just to give you just a
Gotcha.
So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the two different packages that we have in terms of custom, which would be Burleson, and then the other two would be premium. But just, you guys can take a get a feel for what that looks like. And just for you to know, all the counties in Texas we have 12 counties, or 13, I think 12 though, are actually on the custom platform design. So out of the 12, 11 are on the premium, and then Burleson is the only county on our side that decided to go on the ultimate package. But I think, if we get a better understanding of what you guys are looking for, I think George and I would be able to sort of navigate what on an appropriate package, whether it be standard or the custom, right? But at least you guys could just get sort of a general feel of what the platforms look like.
Okay.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to tell you,
So I don't,
this is the county judge. It's all great
yes,
to me.
go ahead.
So, I need you to walk me through, show me the features, because I don't even know what to ask for. But we have people here in the courtroom that can.
Well, I'd like to see what else is at that, Bruce, if you'll page all the way down.
Yeah. Just goes down here.
So you got a map. What's the interim in between? There were some logos and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
These are partners.
Memberships.
Okay, go ahead. You got the weather, which is incidental, so.
That'd be your homepage. What about somebody here in these departments? Can we go through a department and see what you've done? For example, Nadine, if you want to look at their,
Yeah, look at
can we
the-
look at the tax office, Bruce,
Here is.
or elections?
Pay my taxes right there.
Go to government tax.
So I don't know if you guys are looking at the Burleson County, Texas
We are.
county website.
We are.
But I think if you look at the tab under government, I believe it has the different departments that maybe you're looking for. You'll see like county auditor, county attorney, district court, treasurers. I don't know. We build our custom websites based on how the counties want it sort of organized, from my understanding. So, I think from a custom website perspective, and George, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but we have the capability to design it pretty much any way you guys would want it. Whereas I think our standard templates, George, are pretty much, black and white. Here's the standardized sort of websites, and you pick and choose where the custom. You can build it however you see fit.
Kevin, if we have Burleson up and we have the county tax assessor collector page, now could each of these different departments be administered by the department head or the elected official in that department, or how does that work?
So
Go
if you guys are looking to, for example, make changes to your content postings, meaning that if you want to like upload something or take something off, from my understanding, we could give you guys access on the back end to do that. But if you guys are looking to make an actual page modification, right, where you're not just uploading or taking off sort of like a file, but you're redesigning sort of like the page, that would require our involvement to get that changed up.
And what we
But if
need
you're
is,
talking strictly about,
Kevin, what we need is admin capability for departments and department heads, so that if there's something that is urgent, something that's timely,
Yeah.
that we don't have to wait around on the webmaster.
Understood. So we could definitely give you admin access, but I don't think we could give admin access per page. It would be, for example, the Burleson County, the Kerr County, Texas website. It would be sort of one admin, I believe, for all the pages that you guys have under the website. So I guess that's why we're saying that you guys would have one admin that would be shared equally among all the different offices. Because I mean, George, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is you can't do an admin per page, right? It would have to be one admin per website that you log in. You log in from.
Why not?
Well, what you can do is it's all granular. An admin has rights to all the pages, but you can set up a tax assessor collector group, and you can have multiple people access this page.
That's what we want.
Then you can set it up for each department that way, because it's all granular.
Good.
But if you do it as admins have access, which would be an overview of all the pages, but the groups can be set up any way you want,
Well, I'm using the term
and as many
generic,
as you want.
but we have to have, otherwise we're talking about a new employee called a webmaster. So,
Sure.
not that everything is gonna be changed, constantly, but it needs to be done without waiting on somebody in an 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Example, we have a new commissioner.
Gotcha.
We need to change that on our commissioner page
Right.
It is.
promptly.
So
Got-
right now, the other
gotcha.
thing is that we have a lot of hidden information. Anything you have on the Burleson site, you can find on the Kerr County site if you have a day. And it's not at all,
User-friendly.
not just user-friendly, but it's not even intuitive in the slightest.
To put it bluntly, we
Correct.
have one of the worst pages in Texas as far as counties, I think, and we want to have one of the better ones when we get through this process.
Right. Well, Kevin, do you mind if I continue here?
Yeah, go ahead. Go, please.
The deal is that in all fairness, your website was done long ago, obviously. Today, you would redo the navigation. If you see the How Can I button that's under the menu on each page, that's for extra fast access to key items you want people to look at. So we end up doing multiple ways for people to access these pages because everybody doesn't think the same way.
Right.
And so we would redo that navigation based on how you would see it today, and then we would make suggestions based on our experience doing that. And then together we could get you a navigation that's would work for everybody. Well, most people. There'll always be those that have an issue navigating through a website, but for the most part, that's the big focus today, is getting people to the content they need right now and giving them multiple ways to get there. You notice on the left-hand side there is of the tax assessor collector, there's another set of menus running down the side that also have information. So if someone doesn't want to go back to the government tab, that navigation's running on the pages as well, so you can get to it in a hurry.
More than one
So
way.
that's the objective, get them, yes, sir, more than one way.
Okay.
How do forms work?
And that's just,
We have a question, how do forms work? Like,
External PDF forms.
like for your county clerk, can we go to that page, Bruce, county clerk on the left? Yeah, you can go up there.
Having forms or?
The question is being able to print forms, view forms, and so
Oh, there they are at
on.
the bottom.
So
Yeah,
we see
there
the
they are.
PDFs
So
there.
does the
Okay.
county clerk upload her own forms as if she's in her own group?
It has to.
They can't hear you.
sure.
Did you hear it?
Absolutely, they could.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Well, then I'm-
So they could do that, and then we have, contact forms as part of the tools, which if you want a contact form for people to contact you, and it can be emailed to several people in your organization. Particularly on this particular website, I'm not exactly sure where they might have something like that. At the very top, there's a contact us on the very, very top bar, the blue bar. Do you see that?
Yes.
There's home site. Now, if you click on Contact Us, these are our forms that allow people to submit information to any department, or how many, you can have as many of these as you want. But the results can be emailed to several people in your organization, whoever would need to see it. And then it's also maintained on that web page where you can download an Excel to get all of that data that's been submitted.
Online employment application?
Online employment application?
I saw those.
You know, you have to be careful. That one, that can be kind of intense, especially most people will provide a form for general access or general information, but they will do a PDF that people can fill out and send back to you. Now, you can post jobs on the web, it depends on your form. If your form's going to be incredibly complex, it gets pretty difficult for somebody doing that online. But yes, it can be done. They're not specifically made. There are companies who do those application forms as a full business, and that's a little bit which can be added to these websites via third parties. But it just depends on, how you want to do that. But we have the ability to work with you to get, Kevin's group, and we can figure out anything you want to do and get the job done. We've been doing it a long time so we've run into a lot of, different scenarios in our history.
What about translation, like on the election page to Spanish?
Translation to Spanish?
You see at the very top,
Voting.
you see at the very top where it says translate?
Okay.
If you'll go to that page, and you were going to which page, I'm sorry, election?
Elections, yes, sir.
It's all in Spanish.
Okay. So I go to the elections page, and if I click on that translate, it's all Google that does this. It's the best translation you can get on the web. It's just the way that everybody uses them pretty much. If you click that button, you'll see it translate your website.
But any forms you have to post, Nadine, you'd have them in English and Spanish anyway.
Correct.
so.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the translate only part of the custom page?
I got the Google for
Okay.
So it takes us off of our website to go to Google Translate.
Okay.
you. Most of them do.
It actually, Google translates and brings the page back. That's just the way it works.
Right.
And there's not much we can do with Google, obviously.
You can't
We're
tell them
all
what to
just
do?
living in their world,
Yeah.
What kind of admin support do you have for, departments can upload and make changes, but for the website as a whole, what's the admin support look like?
At least when it comes to our side for Sierra, so we have 4 different packages, and like I mentioned earlier, we have 2 packages that are custom and 2 packages that are standard. If you go with the standard, we have something called the standard package and the standard plus. So the only difference between the two is that the standard plus offers admin support from Taxera. And what that means is that if you guys want us to upload and take down any content, web links on your behalf, you would just submit a ticket by email, which we would then process on your behalf. That's the type of support you can get. Or if you need, if you have any questions, you can give us a call on our hotline. But our extent of our involvement could be either we just offer you the website service, or we could manage your content postings on your behalf. We offer support from 8 to 5 Monday to Friday, and our response time is usually around I think we guarantee 24-hour advance notice. But we're pretty immediate. If there's ever like an emergency, we're pretty well staffed to be sure that we'll respond in a timely manner.
So you have an emergency number?
We have a hotline that that our members call from that goes directly to Sierra. Typically if you do send something by email and it's an emergency, you could tag it as urgent, and we'll process it like same day. but we do not have an emergency hotline. We just have one hotline. In any case, if there's ever an emergency, you can just call me directly. I'm the manager, and you can just call my cell phone, and I'll make sure that someone from my team handles it. So if you would prefer to just handle your own content postings, you could just take the least expensive package, which doesn't require you to, utilize Sarah to do it on your behalf.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Kevin, can you explain on
But Jeff,
the ultimate website package and the premium website package, what do you get in addition to your standard plus?
So George, I think this is maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but the custom websites, which would be on your side, the premium plus, is there? Can you remind me exactly, specifically, what's the difference between the standards? The standards are just like the pre-defined templates that a member can choose from, and a custom is basically they could just start from scratch, right? We could tweak the page as we want.
yes, and the difference between them are features. On the standard website, there are basic features. On the premium product, you wouldn't see things like this "How can I" menu. There would be features that if you just click on Burleson County and go back to the home page and you see news and announcements, it's just about mid-page. And the calendar, upcoming events on the right, those things are all custom widgets that are included in the premium package. So there are things that just custom widgets. It's just more robust, and you can design it to do anything you want it to do. Whereas the standard package, and the difference is money. I mean, the standard package is a heck of a deal. And then when you get the premium package, it's a heck of a deal, but it allows you to do a lot more with it. In other words, this full slideshow on Burleson that you see going across, if you want to look at like Anderson County, you'll see what the standards look like. But I know that's going to be difficult for you to switch back and forth, but it's really a feature sets that are different. And then the design and the involvement for doing the design and navigation and doing all of those things.
And guys, just for you to know, of all the counties in Texas that we offer this website hosting services to, the majority of our members take the standard. I'm not saying it's what your county needs, but we have 163 counties in Texas that have selected the standard website template. And like I mentioned earlier, we have about 11 that take the premium, and about 1 that take the ultimate package. I wouldn't anticipate that you probably would need more than the premium, but just wanted to sort of give you guys a reference if you guys were wondering. Like 90% of our members pick the standard template, so just wanted to throw that out there.
And then one other question that I have is, you have this additional feature down here of website postings add-on for $1,800 a year. What is that?
Okay, so that is in regards to the custom website packages. So the way that the board has approved this is that if you do get a custom website package, whether it's the premium or the ultimate, it does not come with the tax zero support in terms of website management. So if you were to get the premium and the ultimate, if you would like us to support it in terms of website postings, that would be the additional fee to that.
It
But
sounds
then
like
if you guys want on that, if you want on the standard template, right? The standard involves no involvement. The standard plus would be include the the support that we would provide in terms of content posting.
This $1,800
So what you
you're
mentioned-
talking about sounds like you're describing a outsourced webmaster. Is that pretty much it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Back on the Burleson County, where it said upcoming events, a little ways down. On the upcoming events, is that connected to an external calendar feature, like Outlook or somebody's calendar? Or is that just a?
It's actually linked. If you will click on one of those events, like Monday, September the 6th, it's actually our internal calendar. And people can add this to their calendars. You can look at it by week, month. If you look at it by month, you'll see. But it's all done with our calendar internal. And then the thing that you're seeing on the home page is a feed from this calendar showing the latest 3 items that is coming from that calendar.
Is that a
And you
master,
can connect.
a master
It
calendar?
can be, and that's correct. You can do it that way, or you can have a master that is linking to other calendars, which enhances the master. You can put multiple calendars linked together to make the master, or you can have one master. Depends on how you would want to do it.
So this would be like when you go to a high
So if you have-
school and you see that there's going to be a volleyball game, there's going to be a UIL meeting and all the rest of that on the same day.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. There you go. Basically, that's it.
Well, how do you scroll down to see the other events other than the last 3?
You click on one of them,
Yeah.
and it takes you to the full calendar, and then you just hit month there.
Okay.
You see the different views.
Okay.
Right.
Another thing you can do here that they didn't do, but a lot of times we will have under their view all events, and they weren't interested in doing that, but you can add a view all events, and then it just brings up the month view of the master calendar.
Who adds to the calendar?
Departments would have to add to it. You have the master calendar. Everybody submits their main dates we know are going to stay the same, and then you would add to it after that
So
if something else.
is that a feature then the county would have to buy, like a
It's
office
part of the
outlet or
package,
something?
isn't it? The calendar is part of the basic thing. Is that correct, Kevin?
George.
Sorry, come again?
Is that either one of you? The calendar's just part of the package, right?
Right. I think on the custom website, I think as George had mentioned, it comes with it. Whereas on the standard, it's not.
Well, you on the standard, you can have a calendar, but there's no feed to the home page. There's no automation.
Right. Not dynamic.
You could link to a calendar, but there's no automation. A lot of folks put the events manually in there, and most people don't put events that way, but most of the standard counties. But that automation is where you get into the custom packages, is where you want to draw from those different calendars and put it in a different location, like the home page or any department page or things like that. They're doing it via RSS feed widgets, and those are more complex than just the straight calendar.
If you have a calendar of events that tells what days the courthouse is closed, and then on top of that, you have things that change, like our election dates and so on, based on how many days it takes to get the filings and all that. So it would have to be changed.
Correct. And you can recur events, if they happen at the same time, you can make it a recurring event. And then you can give those categories. If you can get back to that Burleson County calendar, you'll notice at the top of it, it's got categories, and they're in different colors. And you can assign those into different colors on the calendar.
Right.
I have a question. Can each department page have their own calendar?
She wants to know if each department can have their own calendar.
Yes, they can. The thing about it is that you can do that, but if you have the premiums, obviously you can feed those things differently and do there are a lot more manipulation to them, but yes, you can have a calendar on each page.
I would think the
Each
way to do that
department.
is to link that to the master calendar.
Well, just like the elections, they're gonna have a lot of specific needs and what have you, I think.
But if you see the big one and it has all these things on a Thursday, and you can
Right.
click on the link, then you can see their individual calendar. You know what you need.
What's the population of the counties or the average for the standard package?
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
They're asking, the question was, what are the standard or the average populations for the different types of packages in the counties? So, you know, who's buying Ultimate and Premium and who's buying Standard Plus and Standard?
Oh, Kevin?
Yeah,
Yeah, Kevin, would you like to
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, we have a wide array of counties that pick the packages. In terms of population size, you know, I don't have the actual statistics, but, you know, just to give you an example of counties who have taken some of the custom websites, you know, we had Chambers County, Duval, Grimes, James Wells, Kendall, Tom Green, Upshur, Waller, Zavala, Garza. Those are just a few counties, just to name a few, that have selected to go with the custom website. And then, you know, just to name a few that we have that are under our standard, and I do apologize in terms of the breakdown in terms of population size, but, you know, we have, you know, Stonewall, Russ, you know, Real County, Nolan County, Mills County, Matagorda County, you know, Kimball County. We have Karn County, Houston County, Hardin County, Grimes County, Gonzales County, Glasscock County.
Let
you know, Falls County.
Let me stop you there. You don't have to give the whole list. What is the Burleson County website we're looking at? What is that package? Did you tell us that?
Ultimate.
That would be. Let me just double check that real quick. It would be the. Sorry, my apologies.
Yes.
That would be the. Actually, I do apologize. Burleson would be the premium. The ultimate would be the Victoria. So I just want to be clear about that.
Victoria.
So the only ultimate is the Victoria. So we have one county of all the counties that we offer services to that have the ultimate, and then you know, the rest of the counties I named off on the custom side are premium. So Burlington, just to be clear, would be premium.
Are those links, Bruce, to outside storage and page backup, is that part of their website, or is that?
Like these.
That one's pretty snappy.
Yeah, the other links,
That's
I
links
think
to outside.
the county at the time.
Maybe not.
Looks like it's internal.
Okay, that's it.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
No, it looked as if on, what's that section called there?
It'll be into their news.
It looked
How
as if it
can
was
I-
linking you to outside news. News and announcements, that's all internal for the county, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
County news, okay. Yeah, it looked kind of slick.
Well, it gives us an idea. For us, we can relate to Rayal and Kimball. We know the size of those counties pretty well, and we can relate to Kendall, which is our neighbor, and Tom Green, which is San Angelo. So that gives us a pretty good idea. And Victoria, of course, is a major city.
I'm proud of the Mills County folks for having a website. God bless them. God bless them.
And folks, I just want to be clear too that this isn't confidential information. All of our websites, if you see on their website, it says it's powered to. It says tax. It has the Tax Bureau's logo in there. So I just want to be clear that this is not confidential information. Like it's publicized that we support we offer the website. So you'll see our logo there at the bottom for standards.
Well, I think we've got a pretty good feel.
What is if we chose to go with the premium package, how long before it would be operational? We told you next Monday,
What's the
go.
next step?
1st of September, we said go. When's it going to be operational?
So typically what would happen is that you would approach us and we would work with EasyTask to understand the scope of work of what you want in terms of the website. usually the turnaround, George, is really dependent on what is it dependent on really the scope of work, or is it pretty, is there a standard that you guys usually turn around websites for once we come to you guys? And
Yeah, we can, if we have it all together and it's a premium website and you know what you want and we can do it fast, we can do it within 90 days. Because you have to get the content from your old one to the new one,
Yeah.
and all of those things. But the real driver is if we have questions and how fast are you responding to that, and how quick can we get that. The more accurate the data is on the front end, the faster we can do it. So if we do some work on the front end where you guys really look around and know what you're wanting to show, and that doesn't mean you have to go it alone. When we get your information, we'll suggest to you, what do you think about this? This might be a little better way to do that. Then once we do those things, building it out, our goal is 90 days. We want to turn it around in 90 days.
Okay.
And could it be done faster? If it was a smaller website, the standard websites, those can be turned around pretty quickly.
Well, we've been with
They can have that website up.
We don't want to get in a hurry. This
They-
though, I want to say something to everybody in the court, is that there are deficiencies. There are, in some cases, maybe even errors in the information online that we have right now that exists. And for them to transfer that over to a new website, same problem, different look. So all of us need to go through
Exactly.
every single thing that pertains to us that we're familiar with, and whether it's a grammatical error, whether it's hours have changed or whatever, and make those corrections in detail before anybody, whoever gets this job, before anybody takes it on. We've all got to do our homework.
That's exactly right.
Good.
If the content's bad, you're going to be moving bad data,
Right. Sure.
One last question.
and that gets you nowhere.
George, if we, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, we're up and going, and we want to make or one of our departments wants to make a change, that's going to, not just uploading information, it's going to be a change on the way it's working. How do you handle that, and is there an additional cost for that?
Maybe I'll go ahead. Did you want to take this one?
Yeah, I just in general terms, if anything below the header, which the header is where the navigation is, and the footer is down at the bottom where the footer information is, anything in between there, you can change that layout to look differently and make changes to it pretty easily. That's no big whoop. But if you came along and decided that you wanted the tax collector to look totally different than the rest of the county, now that's a whole different story. And sometimes it includes a separate website, and sometimes that can be done internal to the existing website, but there are limitations. So you need the key is starting off with a good design, but as far as the structure of the content that's in there, that can be changed at any time. So if we were, let's pick a page. Give me a page to look at. You want to just look at the election page again?
We're in Victoria right now.
Oh, you're in Victoria.
Yeah, we're in Victoria
Okay.
right now.
Let me get there. Okay. What would you want to pick a page? We'll look at it.
We're on the elections page.
We're on the elections page.
Okay. Gotcha. So let's assume that you decided, we don't want those buttons. We're going to change that. We don't want this applet that's got the registration day. We want to make this 2 columns on the right instead of 1 column. All of those things are doable in the content with the tools. But if you decided on the elections page where it says Victoria County, Texas, we're going to change that header to something totally different, that's a major change in the templates.
Got it.
But anything in the content, you're welcome. It's all free, fair game. And that's what Kevin's group does, is if you are having them help, they can help you to make those changes if they're difficult.
I have a question. Will we get to keep our same website address? Is that gonna transfer over? Or do we have to change all of that?
No, it'd be the same. You can't just up and change that, we own that.
Any other questions? It's been very, very informative. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Is developer support
Okay.
included?
Hold on. Go ahead.
Here, we have a question?
So do y'all distinguish between develop support and admin support?
The question is there a difference between admin support and developer support?
That's where, yeah, you go ahead, Kevin, sorry.
Yeah, no, I would, I think our involvement, if, again, it sounds like you guys are leaning towards the, the premium website package. Again, if you'd like for us to manage your postings, right, which is, as simple as uploading, taking down any sort of content, then there would be that additional price of $1,800 that you saw. But if you're looking for development support, right, you can give us a call and we take it on a case-by-case basis. Again, if it's a restructured design, we'll talk to Easy Task. But if there's any problems with the website in terms of, operational issues where it's not live, which it's not, would never be the case, but, you guys are more than welcome to call us. But, yeah, I just want to make sure that the admin, if we're talking about admin in terms of website posting, it's that additional fee that you guys had mentioned earlier, or asked about earlier.
And that's what we call the outsourced
So
webmaster.
Yes, I have one question for you. What do you call developer support? How do you see that?
That's a good question, George. Yeah, maybe you could clarify that a little bit more. I just want to make sure that I understand what you mean by development support.
Well, I was asking y'all, because you're saying that there's a package where you include,
Gotcha.
we'll maintain your postings and things like that, but then you say if you want to make major changes to the website, it depends on where it is. So it sounds like the kind of thing you get upcharged, so I'd like we know about it now instead of later.
It's like
Well, the thing
changing
would
your
be
letterhead. That's what it is.
Go ahead, George.
Well, the main thing is if you decided you wanted to redo the template some way on a different department or something, that's going to require labor from the developer side of it. And so we would just look at that on a case-by-case basis and say, here's what it would take to do that.
So we don't own the website once we get it?
The question is, do we own the website?
Excuse me?
The question is, and this is coming from the county attorney's office, so, we've got to look at the legal
Okay.
Do we own the website?
Sure. You own all of the content, everything in the website, everything there.
In the domain.
We run on a platform, we run on a Windows platform, and the bottom line is it would be very difficult to take this product and move it to another platform. That's the way all of these platforms are. It would be very difficult but all of the content, that's all your content. You can request that and this is all database driven. So you could get a copy of the databases, you can get a copy which would give you all of the content, and you can get a copy of all the images and all of those things. But being able to, this is not a straight HTML site. They're much more sophisticated, and taking this and trying to run it, on your own somewhere. But you, at that point in time, you would be going to another vendor to do that.
Bruce,
If that was your choice, if you decided to.
Any other questions?
There's a question on, and I'm not sure if this is to you or to Nadine, who's our elections administrator. During an election, there's updates, hourly, weekly, whatever, or daily, whatever they are during the night of the election. And I look at different websites around the state election night, and they're all very different. Is that information, the way it's put up, part of this website, or is that a different system?
No, it's all part of the website.
So
And
how,
people, it's interesting. You would think there could be a kind of a standard format everybody would use, but they don't. Everybody does it differently.
Well, we're Texans.
This is why I asked
We're
earlier,
Texans and we
John,
like it our way, and that's just the way it is.
this is why I asked about the admin. If each department had an administrator versus, and we were talking different lingo, but every department needs to have input, be able to do that in a timely way, especially election, because the legal stuff. So you can't have a webmaster you have to get in touch with from 8 to 5. You got to be able to have access. That was the point.
right. So if the election returns under this website, we're late, I'd come back and I'd be mad at Nadine and
Opposed
Bob.
to us. But they,
But if they came up right on time, I'd be happy with Nadine and Bob.
as the guy on the radio who checks them and reads them on the air, they do a great job keeping it updated. I promise you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. We've got a lot to consider. We've got a couple more presentations. You're welcome to stay on the line and listen if you'd like. It's a public meeting. But if you want to go ahead and leave at this time, you're welcome to. So we leave that up to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your consideration. We do appreciate it. And if you guys have any more questions down the line, just give me a call directly. Be happy to answer any questions you might have. And George, thank you again for being on the call with me today. I'm very instrumental.
Hey, this is
No
also
problem.
on YouTube if you want to watch it, if you can find it on our webpage.
Well, you go straight to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and hang up for you.
Bye-bye. Yep. Bye-bye.
Good.
Well, we at least get to have these meetings remotely like that. They're a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think we got the basic information. And the next presentation is Granicus. Okay.
Is there a best place to?
Yeah, the podium over there, Stephen.
Back here, perfect, thank you.
Stephen Lax.
Going to use your laptop?
Yeah, I put together
Okay.
a little presentation real quick.
Okay.
I just
Other
put it in
than the
there.
video?
Sorry?
Other than the video?
Other than video, yeah.
Okay.
Is that gonna complicate it?
Yep. You can only have one.
Okay, well, if you want, we could start with the video, if that
Alright.
works, and then I could jump into the presentation from there, just change it up a little bit.
And if you would, go to the podium and at least identify yourself so we know your name.
Of course, of course. My name is Stephen Lax, so I'm the account executive over at Granicus. I just wanted to take a moment here to say thank you guys for letting us come out and present to you all. Really appreciate it.
And we're familiar with Granicus because that's who the city uses.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the city website, you'll see Granicus. Okay.
Perfect.
Here's a question. What does it take to make a city work? To keep our communities safe, vibrant, and moving forward, we need our local government's help. Too often, when we think of government, we think of waiting. Waiting in lines, waiting on the phone, waiting for the website to load, or for the doors of City Hall to open. We believe that in an age where everything is a click away, there's no reason to wait behind a closed door. This is Becky Jo Glover. As the Director of Customer Service for the City of Grand Rapids, she felt the pain firsthand when her city's website didn't work for its citizens.
The phone call is the most expensive interaction a government can have with a person. When they're on the internet, it's a very small amount of charge, but if they can't find it, what happens? They call, they walk in. We would ask people, did you check the website before you called here? And they would say, yes, but I couldn't find it. And that was about 75% of every call we received.
Our previous website had about 12,000 pages. About 200 of those pages were accountable for about 85% of all the traffic to the website.
They needed a website that delivered online services that answered people's questions and helped them get things done.
We used to have 120,000 calls and walk-ins to our center on an annual basis for just water and starting refuse and turning water on. Today, in less than 11 weeks, we have a 79% reduction in walk-ins for turning water on. Might only be $14,000 savings. Times that, times the 500 services we're going to eventually have out there, the math speaks for itself.
We now have customers who, at night in their pajamas, can fill out an application for a permit to host a special event in the city, which is fantastic.
It's a culture shift within the organization. We are here as government for the public, to serve them, so it doesn't make sense to organize the way that we want to. We need to organize for the public so that we can serve them best.
The Open Cities platform was created by listening to the needs of both government staff and community users. In Grand Rapids, we heard from people like Fran.
I gotta be honest, I'm resistant to technology. I do it because I have to, and I'm learning how to use it. Oh man, this is cool. Next trash collection, next recycling collection. This is pretty nifty.
We are the first in the country to do our own civic user testing, and that's another thing Open Cities brought to us. Every service, every piece of content, every page on our website is tested by our community before we launch. They become our content specialists for the entire city. So you see, even our jobs are changing.
The perspective that Open Cities brought forward and looking at a system or a process and saying, how do we make this easier? How do we make this informative? And the way that we do that is that we listen to the people trying to use the service, which is very different than many others.
Now the website is City Hall, open 24/7 and easy to use. That's exactly what Rachel wanted.
Just makes it so much easier. Which used to take me like 3 or 4 stops, now only takes me 1 stop.
Not only did it benefit our citizens, but our city's staff as well.
What we love about it is it communicates with other departments. You get this simple notice, we open it up, we're able to take a quick look and say, yep, the dates work, the location works, let's start the permit process. Whereas before, people would spend a ton of time filling out this 15-page application, and they would send it in and you'd say, boy, we don't have any availability.
How often do you have a company that comes up with an idea and within about 3 to 4 weeks launches a new module that's now available to take care of our dreams? It's just unheard of, especially in government.
Every time that I'm with a group of mayors, I feel like one of the topics we're talking about is community engagement and community-driven decisions. And what we did with our website in partnership with Open Cities is one of the most concrete, effective examples of true community engagement. And that, to me, is the best story about this experience.
So what happens when government becomes more open? In Grand Rapids, it means more people accessing their government online at whatever time and place works for them. And that means more block parties, and more tree plantings, more business licenses, more positive interactions between the city and the people, interactions that bring them real value every day. Which leaves just one question. What would be possible if your government was always open?
Very good.
Awesome.
You have a VGA connector?
Sorry?
You got a VGA connector?
That is a great question.
The answer is no. Now?
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna improv a little bit here on the a little bit on the presentation, if that's okay. My apologies on that. I wanted to start out just by kind of talking about a little story, if that's okay with all of you guys. I'm sorry, would it be best to stand here?
I can't see you when you get
My
up.
apologies here. I wanted to start out by talking about a quick story here. So I had a picture of the top of Mount Everest, right? Not many people have been up there, not many people have actually scaled it, but the people that have get one of the most incredible views in the world. They're at the pinnacle of what this earth can really offer. And it was crazy to think of everything that has to go into that. The stuff you have to prep in order to actually get to that point is insane. There's over 65 items that are required to make that trek. One of which was not mentioned was actually having a guide, right? You need somebody to help you guys get there. The reason that I mentioned this is because when I was talking with a couple different people here, it sounded like everybody wanted a new website and everyone was all in agreement on that. But there's a lot that goes into that, and it didn't sound like many people knew what specifics they wanted and what they actually wanted that to look like. So I could go through a demo with you guys, but I actually opted to take a little bit of a different approach today, if that's okay with everybody here. If you guys have any questions as I'm going through this, please feel free to just let me know. Speak up, interrupt me, that's fine, okay? So something that I had talked about with, again, a couple people here is that you guys are really looking for a partner that's going to come alongside you guys and help you to design the website. So when you start out with a website, that's your main focus. You're trying to find that digital town hall. You want people to be able to easily access it. You want them to get the information that they need in a timely manner so that they're not frustrated with the county. And that's just kind of the beginning of where you guys need to go. After that, you start adding in, it sounded like there were a couple questions on this already, services, and how they're actually going to be interacting with that website. What services does the county offer, and how can we get those services into the hands of the residents in a quick, effective manner? Updating information is key. If you guys don't update information on a timely manner, from one perspective, you could have issues from a legal standpoint, right? But another perspective of that is it kind of loses trust with a lot of the residents that you guys currently work with. And so you all are tasked with finding a way to put that information in their hands in a quick, timely manner, which is really why we're here. That's just the beginning of the journey though, right? That's really where you guys are at right now. And so what my team wants to actually do is we want to be that guide for you all. Are you at work though? Coming back to that Everest story, right? You guys need a guide in order to actually get to where you're going. A lot of times these projects, they're actually going to fall apart in the implementation phase. That's the hard part, right? And so what I wanted to kind of showcase here, and I wish I could plug my computer in, but I wanted to showcase a couple of the websites that we have worked with, because I want to show you guys that we're not just here to say, hey, here's a website and good luck. We're actually here to support you guys through that journey. So one of the big things that you guys are probably looking for is a team that's going to come alongside you guys and help design this website. Is that a fair assumption? Okay, because it's Greek to you guys, right? There's a whole lot that goes into this. And actually, well, I guess I'll wait for him to come back here because I want to pull up a couple examples on county websites that we've worked with so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But really, our hope is that we'll be able to come.
Yeah, let's get him.
Yeah, is that okay?
I've got an 11 o'clock, so I'm ready to go.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he'll mind. Okay, where are we going?
Galveston County.
While we're getting there, Stephen, what we talked about last time, would we have administrators for each department?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, something that's really cool is I'm at least thankful for this. So when I was going through it, I'm just a sales guy, right? We're not the technical whizzes everybody thinks we may be, but something that was really cool is a lot of this stuff is actually just drag and drop. So you guys were mentioning each department has its own responsibilities, and they're required to update this stuff. And so a lot of the stuff you're seeing here, it's as simple as dragging in a new template, dropping it in, typing in your information. So if you guys are trying to do real live or real-time updates on your voting, for example, you can just update that information on the site. It would probably take you about 30 seconds to do. It's really quick.
Is this proprietary software, or is this some kind of other platform? Something that
proprietary software? Could you maybe expand just a little bit on that, please?
Do you own this, or is this somebody's platform that you guys use?
This is all Granicus.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, going back real quick, just to kind of a little bit more detail on that, this might be of interest too. I know that it was important that you guys maintain the information. It's your site, it's your data. You want to make sure that it's set. And one of the things that we want to make sure that that's exactly what you guys are doing. So you guys will have full control over it. It's your website to do what you please with it. But we wanted to help host it in a secure environment for you all, just so it makes it a lot easier.
So all these forms can be maintained by the department head?
Mm-hmm. It's really cool actually. So Granicus is a, oh, I'm sorry, you
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, is it like an upload, like a PT, what do we call those, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like using FileZilla or
Mhm.
something. How would the department head get on the site to upload and maintain?
Right. Yeah, so we can actually help you guys put together there's a couple ways you could do it. You could have certain forms where you'll have them filled out on the website, and we'll help you guys get that set up. And when someone submits it, would go to your email, which you all probably have in place right now. One of the cool things about Granicus, and really where the story starts to make a bigger impact, is that we're not just a website company. We also have other things. So whether you guys want to make sure you're keeping track of the minutes for the commissioners court and posting those in a time effective manner, or if you have services that you guys want to post about and that you need people to fill out, we actually can help you guys on the back end to process those. Maybe a form comes into one department, you guys realize this is actually handled by a different department, you can send those all in a workflow on the back end. So we don't just want to be able to help you guys out with the website, we want to be able to grow with you as you guys grow. As you start plugging in these other different aspects, instead of having 10 plus vendors, where you have 10 phone numbers you call, 10 emails that you have to email if something goes down, something happens, we want to be able to provide that central location so you guys can provide these services, the website, anything that you may need from that single platform. Does that answer your question?
So I would have to contact somebody to upload the document?
No, we would help you guys put the document together, and if you already have a document, it's something that you'll be able to upload on your own.
So is it, I think the word was the FTP, so is it like a connection to a different server or something?
So you could embed it, you could do a link to, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could link it to another form on a different server if you want, or you could actually embed it into the website itself.
Okay.
There's a couple different ways that you'd be able to do it. Yeah, and I figured that my whole thought on it, again, I was thinking about doing a demo and going through that, but it really sounded like I wanted to take a step back because it sounded like everybody really wanted to just get an idea of the layout of how this would work.
No, you're right. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's getting into the weeds, or what I'm looking for is to be able to easily go in and upload a document. That's the main thing that I'm concerned with.
Okay,
But
is that
I
connecting
know
it?
commissioners have different, Spiderzillas, FileZilla.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and that's part of it, right? You can have a nice front-facing website, but what happens on the back end? If it's not easy for you guys to use, it could be the nicest thing ever, but that information, even if you get the right information on the new website, it's going to be difficult to actually go through and update that, right? It's going to become confusing again eventually. So yeah, it's a big piece of what we do is on the back end workflow to help you guys get that uploaded.
Stephen, on the previous presentation, they had different levels of participation. And what how does yours work?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everyone's going to have different levels, which is that's good for you guys, right? I mean, that way you can find something that fits with what you're trying to do and your budget. There are different levels for Granicus too. It ranges from something that's a little bit more templated to something that is fully customized. It really just depends, and so that's a big reason why we actually want to come alongside you guys and learn from each person, not what you're looking for necessarily on the website, but what the needs of the community are. So the 3 packages, they range from it could be $4,000 a year. You can get packages that go all the way up to over $100K. Of course, you guys wouldn't, because usually that's for larger cities and counties. But the key is that we want to make sure that we don't want to leave anything out, so that you guys come back later and say, hey, we actually need this. It's going to cost us another $5K, another $10K. We also don't want to oversell you guys, because no one's going to be happy in that deal.
Could you give us an example of what the Galveston County package is?
Yeah, so this one is going to be, I believe that this is going to be our fully custom one. And if you guys, I kind of put it on scale, we also work with Reeves County here too. They're going to be on the opposite side of things, where they're going to be on the...
It's Reeves County.
Sorry?
We understand Reeves County.
Yeah. Exactly. So they're going to be on the opposite side of things. And, you know, again, I had that here, but you're more than welcome to check that out if you wanted to see what it could look like on the other end.
No.
Okay.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that you, just help me here, you do have packages that are standard A, B, C, whatever.
Correct.
But you also, within the bounds of package C, for example, you want to make sure that we have everything we need, customize it, make sure we don't stop at C if we need to go to D, or don't go to C if we need to go to D.
Correct.
Yes? Okay.
What does Galveston get charged annual fee?
Galveston is just north of their one-time fee, which is the big cost with our websites usually, is the setup. Their one-time fee was just north of $35K. Their annual fee, I believe, is around $10K. I would have to double check that. They're one of our more involved
And
websites.
what's Reeves County about?
Yeah.
Reeves County is probably seeing about $4K a year.
I'd like to see that one.
Give me an address.
Yeah.
Reeves. VES. That's our tax assistant collector who's named Reeves.
I love that.
There you go.
What was the setup for Reeves? You said it's for about $4,000 a year. What was the startup cost?
The startup cost it would be roughly $7,500. The first year we don't charge the yearly cost either because it takes some time to get it set up, and
okay.
We just felt that wouldn't
Will
be
you
fair.
page down on it first? Let's see what the rest of it looks like. Now those articles and things there, that's all internal information of theirs, right? Static picture. At the top.
That was the second time you asked that question. Was there something that you had in mind for articles on the website?
Just your website's different than the last one. Everybody does things differently.
Since we've gone to the county clerk's office or elections or something that we've seen already from some of the other sites, so we can kind of compare.
Find it.
Election, that's fine.
Would your calendar system work like we heard described earlier?
So the way that you could do it, especially if you want to have different departments, you could actually do a filter so people could see the calendar and just see that one department. Just, you know,
Just
get
click
cluttered
on.
if you have everybody together. Yeah. Yeah, and my recommendation off of what I've heard from you guys so far would actually be the innovator, that's the middle tier. But the reason why I would recommend that is because if you guys are trying to get, you want to be better than a lot of the other counties in Texas is what it sounded like. You want it to be something that everybody else could look to as a point of success. And what we'll actually do is go through heat maps and analysis of the residents that live here and what they're searching for, so that you guys know what to put on that front page. And you can actually put something that's relevant to everybody on the front page rather than just try to come up with your own design and hope that it sticks.
And what would something like that run?
The annual cost would probably be around the same for you guys. It'd probably be about $4,300. The cool thing about our websites is they're almost all going to be the same annually. The upfront cost would be about $15K to set that up.
What's the turnover time from day one?
So if you guys implemented it on Monday or said that you were going forward with it, how long would that take to turn around to a live website?
Yeah.
So in general, if you guys are looking at customizing stuff, it's probably going to take about 4 to 6 months. We recently acquired a company called Open Cities that we've been working with, and they have a way to, if you guys maybe don't want as involved back-end workflow, but you want to get services and and a website set up, they can actually turn stuff around in about a month or two. So it's a really quick turnaround. It really just depends on what you guys feel like you'll need, and that's something that we wanted to go through with you all, kind of walk through that journey with the team.
And support, you haven't mentioned that.
Yeah, support. I mean, support's one of my favorite parts about it. We're one of the larger companies in this space. Because of that, we can put a lot of money into support. The back end actually has videos that are already there. So if you bring somebody new on, if you need a refresher, if you forget about how to use something, there's videos actually embedded in the back end that you can watch real quick. Just a couple minutes to see how to do it. There's also a live chat for support that's built into the back end in case that's not enough. If you want to get somebody on the line and say, hey, I'm just forgetting how to do this, you can actually talk to somebody. And then, you know, standard to probably most places, there's also a 24/7 support as well, where if you guys have an emergency, you need to call in, you need to email, we're there to help.
Good. Any questions? More questions?
How many counties do you handle?
Sorry, what was that?
How many counties?
How many counties in Texas do you handle?
Right now, we're working. I would say around 20. We don't have as many, I think, as Easy Task. That's currently growing for us. I think that our cities that we work with right now are a little bit more prevalent. But yeah, I'd probably say about that number right now.
Do you know offhand how long you've done City of Kerrville?
Sorry, could you repeat?
The City of Kerrville, y'all do their website?
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea of how long y'all been helping them?
I don't off the top of my head. I apologize,
No
but
problem.
I can figure that out
Yeah,
for you.
no problem.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, or are we good?
I think we're good right now.
Okay, perfect. Just kind of a side note, if you don't mind. I know that I talked with IT earlier last week here. It sounded like security was a pretty big concern as well, because I mean I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Virginia. We had a pipeline hack over there, and we lost all of our oil. Security is a pretty big thing for us. I'm not sure if this would make sense to you all, but I actually talked with my management before this, and to see if we could give you guys a tour of our data center. I don't know if that's a possibility for you all, but it is an option. If you guys would actually want to see where the data is stored and get an idea of the security, that's an option as well. So
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the time though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay.
Wait, one more question. Stephen, on your the handout, could you print it out kind of what the different packages are, or the different ranges, some of that information? I mean, I don't know what you had on the computer. We couldn't get to see that, unfortunately.
Yeah, my apologies. Did you just want me to kind of list that out, or would you actually
No,
want
just
a handout for it?
if you had a handout or something, or could send it, email it to
Yeah.
Commissioner Harris. That way we'd have something to look at a little bit.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'd be more than happy to.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And you might put in there your thoughts. You've been here, you've seen what we probably looking for, and any feedback you give us,
Yeah, I'd love to.
suggestions. Thank you.
Okay, Clint.
Morning, everybody. My name is Clint Morris, and I am the founder and owner of Morris Strategic Communications. Here in Kerrville, we have Alara Strategic and Creative. We have been in business in the Kerrville area for 23 years. I'm a 1997 graduate of Tybee High School. I've lived here in my entire life. Some of y'all, let's see, not this sheriff hasn't chased me around Kerrville, but I'm sure, there's stories, but we as a community have a lot to be proud of, and I think our website is due for a major refresh. So I'm going to go a little bit different direction than maybe the other two that are pitching at y'all today. We've done a pretty in-depth review of the current Kerr County website, and
Pretty impressed, weren't you?
once I got through all of it, we found some chutes and ladders. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there's all kinds of places to get bounced around that website. When it comes to the world of websites, ultimately all of us that are going to talk to you as vendors can design it to look just about any way we want to. We're at a stage of web development at this point where You know, the looks of a website are pretty straightforward, and what is expected in a municipal or a county website, you know, there's not a lot of heavy creativity and whiz-bang that goes into that. It's meant to be very accessible by the public. So, excuse me, I'm pollen this morning. Okay, so one thing I want to start out with is our values and what we think is important in the Kerr County website. Number one, we believe in it being extremely user-friendly. Everything that we build is mobile from day one. I'm sure that those also that spoke to you this morning, their websites are mobile as well. We very much want to route people when they get to the website to exactly what they're looking for. I think we all can agree that we all would have the same values in the way of going about that. Number two is local control. We are extremely fixated on giving a power to these department heads to be able to manage their own areas of the website. Each of our websites is built for our clients. If you ask me the question, how many counties are we working for right now in Texas, the number is 0. I'll be completely upfront about that. But we have built dozens of websites that serve Kerr County and beyond. Our firm has worked for Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm. We've been all over the country for 23 years. So you don't buy a package from us. We offer basically 2 packages. We're going to build you the website the way that we feel like it needs to be built, working alongside the team. And then we're going to offer you support on the level that you request. There's no gold, silver, platinum. There's none of that. We're just very straightforward in our office on building each of our client relationships the way it needs to be built. I don't have partners. I am the only owner of my company. We're 2 blocks up the street right here. Okay. One thing that was spoken of earlier is that all of these websites are database driven. Ours is not database driven. We use a flat file system, and I'm happy to go through all the minutia of all of the reasons why that's different if you want to get into the technical side of things. Our system's non-proprietary. If I get hit by a bus, if my company gets hit by a meteor, you can take your code base and hand it to one of about 20,000 developers that can take it over. So we do not use a proprietary code base. Couple of things I wanted to throw out real quick that haven't been addressed thus far, and I think this being a workshop, it's worth putting in front of this body as well as everybody in the room, is that while we look at different products that can be purchased to fulfill the need, there's some current needs that we didn't talk about. One is public records access and how different firms are going to handle that. You know, at this point, we have jail records, tax records, court and bond records. All of those are available through the county website. One of the key questions that I feel that needs to go into this decision is how those access points are going to be maintained so that we're not going backwards. And looking at some other different county deployments, I don't see any access to that information. So I think that definitely needs to be addressed. You know, the way that we would look at that is we would want to link to that data through the many providers that do that. That's tax records and jail and court and all of that stuff.
In what way? How are you talking about?
Well, you could either have that website, that data inside your website, or you can link to a third party who contains that data. And so we would just want to make sure that prior to any decision, either on y'all's side or our side, that it was addressed on how the public was going to get to that information. And who was going to be responsible for holding that information.
As the county clerk records are not free. I mean, no record in the county clerk's office is free. So, like with your external website, it would be through EDOC. They maintain our records. Our criminal records, same thing. You can see the information and the case index, but you cannot open the document without a subscription through the district clerk to Odyssey. So
is that like it's a PayPal kind of thing?
Well, that's I probably shouldn't even brought it up, but I'm concerned with y'all understanding that they cannot open county clerk records. Just they cannot open them because they're not free.
Well, whatever we do is going to be in line with what you need for your department.
Yeah, but I also like the website masters to know that certain records cannot be open without authorization.
Sure. But what are we doing now to pay online? People having to come in, or are they paying online?
So they can access it through EDOC through a certain date back to 1997. They can, and then when they download that image, it'll say unofficial because it didn't come through us.
Okay.
Those fees go through EDOC, but we get a significant discount on the EDOC program. If it's, say like, someone wants to hold a record, then they do a public information request and we use that cost model, or they can come into the office and print the record themselves at 10 cents a page. If we print it, it's $1 per page, and all that's statutory fees.
So we have everything digitized back to 1997, and then prior to that,
Part of that is also digitized through Laserfish, but there's not,
not the same access.
not the same access.
Yeah, okay.
So just let you know.
So we'd have to, that's a simple thing, have a way to pay online.
Right, well, the pay online is to an external provider, and,
Right.
and that's pretty, what we would say is we're linking off to third-party assets is the clarity we'd want y'all to have. No matter which vendor you choose, that will need to be addressed. I just hadn't heard it talked about this morning. And that's really getting down into the kind of like Bruce and the vendor talking about how county IT and the current website links off to that information. There are third-party providers that do tax and jail and court records already, for some records.
So here's another question that hasn't been addressed or asked by anybody so far this morning. Let's say I do a search that says, how do I find a document? Rather than going to the website. All of that is that all taken care of what you do? Somebody sits down and they type in, I want to contact the county clerk. They're not typing in kerr.county.us and all the rest of it.
Well, we're going to let, as far as just sitting down, going to a browser and searching,
yeah.
The great thing about Google is it will come by weekly, monthly, and it'll have a full list of all that. It'll actually index the entire site. So, ultimately, if you're searching for Kerr County jail records or Kerr County, like it is now, and that stuff is already indexed by Google.
Okay.
We optimize that, but I think that's pretty standard.
So we don't have to do the keyword search
No.
and all that stuff. Google does that now.
Yeah, Google.
Okay.
Yeah. We probably, most counties and cities are probably not doing a lot as far as search engine optimization because there's only one place to get a lot of that information.
Right.
So,
Jeff, but my point is, instead of typing in the county name, you type in a question, and it's going to take you to the county website and tell you how to do it.
Right. Well, that's just a matter of getting the content on the site to align with those questions.
Okay.
So, and that brings up another point. Completely agree with the first vendor about the need for cleaning up internal data. I think the number one, having looked at this and discussed it with many different people in and outside of county government, the number one thing is to clean up what's there before we go down the road at all of trying to recast all of it. And what's kind of happened with the site, if you do a sitemap of the entire Kerr County website right now, it's basically trees to branches to twigs to split twigs to, this is a massive, one of our challenges in our office, and anybody's going to have the same issue, is to get their head around the actual need, like how much time and effort is this going to take? Because we clicked on one spot that you can only click it in one place, and it led to an entire section that is only accessible through that one single link.
Right.
So there's somewhat of a bit of it's like the Winchester House in some ways, where you open up a hallway, a small door, and you get to an entire hallway of doors. So that just kind of takes, we would look at a clean sheet development. So everything that we do in our office, we do not use templates in our office. I want to put that out in front. We do not grab a template and put your information into the template. Every single one of our clients gets a custom website. Our developer is right up here on Earl Garrett Street. So, and that's not to knock templates, but we have a little bit more flexibility because we're able to build it to the needs of the client.
Clint, you mentioned this now, and earlier we talked about cleaning up our current website. How do we do that? And I'm not sure if I'm asking that question to you or to Bruce, because, or maybe Charlotte, because it's like, say there's an error on the tax assessor's website. I don't think they have the ability to go in there and change it.
No, but she needs to sit down, every one of us has to, even if there's a grammatical error in your page that says something it shouldn't, and make notes of it.
But it's okay.
Some of the information
How?
that we have isn't even necessary.
Right.
Now, who's gonna make the decision of, this was never necessary? That's another question that I've been sitting here wondering about. But if Nadine does her homework, if Jackie does her homework, whoever it is, they have to do it and tell us what's pertinent, what is incorrect, what is superfluous,
I'm
what's
more basic.
repeated.
How? Do we, I mean.
Well, they have to look at what's there now.
I know, but how do you make the change
So-
into the website?
You give that information to the vendor.
Okay, so if they do a screenshot of that page and make the corrections.
So our workflow, if I can jump in, is that okay? Our workflow and what we kind of estimate in our office is that we would set up a series of meetings with each department head in ways that they're reasonable, like maybe 2 to 3 at a time, maybe 1 at a time for larger departments. And what we have clients do over and over again when they're moving to us as a vendor is they literally copy their entire website copy into Word and they start editing. And so, you know, what we have anticipated is going through with each department head, and some of y'all may have seen the email that went out to department heads regarding what needs are needed. We want this to be a very iterative process with the department heads. Like, we want to have, our plan is to have, this is what a department page looks like, but let's meet with the department head and empower them to tell us what needs to be on there. So how does it get correct? I think it gets corrected through the process of that, okay, this stuff needs, they can copy paste it into Word and we sit down and go, this is what it needs to do, what it doesn't need to do, and that. So we're looking at a lot of hands-on in our office of, you know, I'm willing to have quite a few meetings down here to make sure that they have what they need. I know one thing that's come up, I'm sorry, did that answer your question?
I think so.
Maybe. One thing that's come up is, you know, obviously we have a very strong need for departments to upload their own documents. So ours it's right there in the back end. Each department head can go in, upload their PDF files, edit, copy, and photos on their particular department page. And that's at will. I know that on election night, Nadine has to be on there probably 15 times an hour, sometimes it seems, to get that information uploaded. And that's directly through the back end of the website. It's not through FileZilla or any other. I mean, it's a straight, you log in, you're presented with what you're allowed to admin, and you can upload that document right there.
I have a question.
Yes.
So one of the issues we have right now is folks can still somehow pull up some old form from like 2013, and it's like, where is this link even coming from? And so, from Google. So can we clean that up through Google?
Well, I think what the process that any of the vendors is going to find with this process is that all that huge file tree that's back there is going to all come down, and it's going to only be uploaded what needs to come back. It's going to have to be very purposeful on what is brought forward.
But it may not eliminate entirely some old form because it's out there on Google.
Well, the form will be gone, so if Google links to it, eventually they'll go back and look for it and see that it's been deleted, and that link will fall off over time. So it will take some time for Google to catch up to the fact that it's not available. But I agree with you. I have 3 or 4 copies of the same form from the county that kind of moves through the years. So, see, just make sure I haven't missed anything here. So got the, okay. That's really, I mean, that's what I wanted to throw in. I mean, our timeline on this would be that once we had all the content in place, or pretty close to in place, we'd probably be looking at around 120 to 180 days, but I would probably be closer to the 120. The far and away after 22 years in this industry, I will tell you that if things are going to grind down, they're going to grind down in the content acquisition part and getting all the pieces and parts together. Now, we don't wait until there's the perfect content to get started on the code. We will actually sit down and work on design and get all of that put together. If we know what buckets we need to build, we'll build the buckets. But we're not going to launch it until the buckets are filled. So that's how we go about it. But
Annual cost, roughly?
You know, I think our annual cost will probably be in line with other vendors. We're going to be somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a year annual cost. Generally in our office, if it takes us less than 15 minutes to do an update, we don't charge for it. We're a customer service driven company. You know, we can get into the minutia of kind of like how we would put together the actual proposal and numbers. But one of the challenges to this point has been the scope of work.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can add in one feature that adds 150 hours to our end of the work. So getting to a clear scope of work, I think, is very important.
What's the initial cost estimate range?
And that really just goes to what I just said. It's really about that, you know, that scope of work. And if we agree on the site map, I think we would be somewhere probably between 20 and 25,000, somewhere in that area. But that's honestly, Commissioner, that's just a flying leap. I think that clarity of what stays and what goes, you know, and how we're going to handle this public records access. I feel like that's a landmine that, as a county, we don't want to step on.
Would it help you and probably any of the vendors that if the department heads looked at some common websites and said, "This is, we like this, we don't like this," like look at City of Kerrville, look at Kendall County, so that would that be a help, or does it make any difference?
Well, I think if we look at the two vendors, and I've looked at probably 6 or 8 others that do websites for counties across the southern United States, ultimately what comes down to the pages is pretty much standard.
Right.
It's contact information, who's in the department, a small directory, a place to put forms. Those things are pretty stock. In the form we put together that went out to department heads, we included, you know, who are you, where are you, how do we get a hold of you, but what do you absolutely need to do in addition to those things? What would you like it to do in addition to those things? So we're already started the process of trying to get feedback from those department heads. But one of the tools that we use internally, since we are clean sheet developers, is bring me 3 things you love and 3 things you can't stand. And that does kind of help us dial in. But there's not a lot of variation between county websites as far as like the content. Most of it's just a few little bells and whistles here and there.
And ultimately, the stuff we saw, the photographs, the font size and all that sort of stuff, we're going to probably have an improvement no matter what happens. But the important thing is the content, that people easily access it and that it's accurate information. So, which is why we're all here today. What it looks like, honestly, personally, having done a lot of this sort of stuff, I don't want 3 people in the room talking about what they want or what color it should be or any of that. Let the developer do that and bring us back something and pick one of 3.
Yeah.
Be done.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But remember that a camel is a horse designed by committee.
Commissioner, you know, there's a camel. We have a photo of a camel in our office.
That's good.
So
it's a good reminder.
It's a great analogy. Is there anything else I'd like to ask me? I mean, our major values is this local control. We want to empower department heads. We want this to be something that is predictable cost and that y'all have turnaround. There's some specific technical things we want to make sure that we're all on the same page. But
as far as you go, I think we need to dial in what that setup is. I know that's tough from the way you're going to approach things and stuff. But the other 2 we've heard from, we pretty much know what it's going to cost up front, you know, and then yearly. And yours is kind of out there because it's, you know, how much research is it going to do, or how much time you're going to have to put into it. So that's the one thing we probably need from you, Clint, when we start comparing.
Okay.
Well,
it sounds like your approach is more comprehensive, but that also leaves a wide open plane.
It does, and honestly, when I shoot a number out of the dark, I have to shoot it high, because we're building something. Once we don't complete, scope of work, our number does tend to come down. But I just don't want to have any landmines where, things just hurt the relationship.
Well, I can tell you, I had Jennifer send out a survey that Clint provided last week, I don't know, first of the week or something, to all the elected officials and department heads, and I think you said you only got 7 back.
We have 7 of all the county departments, we got 7.
And it was basically 3 questions. I don't know if y'all got the email or not, but it was pretty simple. How many of y'all did for your departments? And that would probably help you get closer to our needs if you got more of those back.
So ours is not a website in a box.
Yep.
That's the difference.
We understand.
Okay.
Any other questions for Clint?
I was going to ask if there was an example website.
I'm happy to send out, I can send out plenty of a portfolio that we've done. I'm happy to let you take a look.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I think that concludes the workshop. Is there anything else about websites that we need to talk about before we adjourn?
Next step.
Next step?
Make a decision.
Yeah, make a decision, which we can't do the decision today, but we can figure out the next step.
Well, and Bruce, you have any input from everything you've seen?
I think we,
My biggest concern, of course, is the breadth of information that everybody's going to try to access. There's stuff that goes back to the 1800s as far as the minutes of the court. All of that has to be brought forward.
And when you say minutes of the court, you're talking about these old historic court orders.
Yeah, it's old stuff.
Because we don't actually have minutes, we have court orders.
Yeah.
Now, are those scanned documents? Are they digitized? Or what do we got? I know some of them are scanned.
It's a code written into Laserfish, right?
I think that's correct.
And then the website somehow does its thing and it picks up the code and it just puts it on the webpage for you.
Okay, we have,
It's a database.
it's database, so
All of that would have to be linked some way
I think
to
it's
a
just
website. It doesn't matter who does it.
yeah. That's not, I don't think that's a big deal.
No,
You
that
guys
should
don't
be
think
pretty
it's,
standard for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue for
Yeah.
anybody.
The other counties have done it, so
well, we had discussions several years back about word searches and old documents and all that, and a lot of what we have is just scanned, so people have to kind of know what they're looking for.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Jason,
In
we
the
could,
1800s, they didn't have computers.
we could put this on our next agenda as an executive session item to discuss as a contract.
As a potential contract, I don't see one going.
Yeah.
that'd be a week from today.
Do you all have language?
Today's Labor Day.
Oh,
That's
well,
Labor Day.
Oh.
We don't have any
That's right.
The next regular.
Be the next day.
13th, yeah.
13th.
We don't have, the 13th our next agenda.
13th.
Yeah.
Our next meeting.
That's okay. And in the
Yeah,
interim,
you're right.
anybody that wants to bring anything to us.
But so the contractors know, we meet on the second and fourth Mondays of the month for our regular meetings, and that will be the 13th. And when we're talking about contract negotiations, we usually try to do those in executive session, so they're confidential. If we get the right opinion from the county attorney that says we can do it. And we have to get an opinion every time we do that. Okay, so that's the plan. Put it on the agenda for September the 13th. Anything else? We're adjourned.
Appreciate y'all.